Alright guys, what's up? Jay Lee here with another red pill vlog or whatever the hell you want to call this, Northwest podcast. Anyway, I'm going to try to keep this one short. Today I want to talk real quick about why red pill men need to be careful with archetypes. And by archetypes I mean male archetypes, which is alpha, beta, gamma, blah blah blah, right? Now, I don't want to get too deep into it, but basically, in today's day and age, what we call beta and what we call alpha really is just boiled down to a successful man or a unsuccessful man, really. That's kind of our pop culture. That's kind of how we've boiled it all down, right? But of course, there's certain connotations with each term. An alpha man in the West, at least, generally connotates to a guy who is leading. He's in a leadership role. He's successful. He has his own money. He makes his own money. He is well respected. He has high self-esteem. He has self-confidence. He has rapport with people he meets, right? Basically, that's about the gist of it, right? A beta man is just like the opposite of that, really. A guy who is not successful, a guy who doesn't have a lot of money, a guy who is, depressed, or he doesn't have a lot of self-esteem. He doesn't have a lot of self-confidence. He's weaker. He tends to placate to women, whereas the alpha guy tends to be a leader of women. Women want the alpha guy, right? These are all the pop culture. If you really get into it, though, if you really get into the male archetypes, these are not actually, these two, alpha, beta, those descriptions, those connotations that I just described are not really strictly the truth as far as the science goes. If you really get into it, an alpha male is a leader of a pack, generally, and it's usually that pack is the family unit, right? It's usually a family unit. You can to some degree sort of use it in terms of like a team or a friend group. It can be loosely used in that context. But again, why I shouldn't say again because I haven't talked about this, but I have before in other videos, but if you talk about it in, the friend group context or a team group context, then things change. Because family, everybody is family. Everybody is reliant on each other, right? But in a friend group context or a team group context, people aren't necessarily loyal. People aren't necessarily on your team, so to speak. Even though they might be on your team, they might not be supporting you as if they are really on your team. So there's all kinds of little connotations, there's all kinds of little details that are left out of the the discussion when people are talking about alpha beta. So I wanted to say, be careful when you're talking about that kind of stuff, because a lot of times it's bro science. A lot of times people don't really know what they're talking about. People don't really know that, they don't really understand what alpha, beta, gamma, delta, omega, etc., right? They don't know what all those things mean. Sigma. They don't know what all those things mean. They don't know what all those terms mean. They don't understand how to differentiate those things and how to apply it. And it's very difficult to apply those archetypes to men and women in today's age. Also, a lot of people don't understand that there are alpha females, there are beta females, there are omega females, etc. It's just a classification based on personality, based on behavior traits, right? And even in that case, even in those cases, if we're talking about those behavior characteristics for a certain person, a person might not be ironclad in one characteristic. A person might not be totally beta. A person might not be totally alpha. It's circumstantial, okay? And it's variable. That's just a fact. That's something that I've thought a lot about. I've learned a lot about. So for people to say, oh, this guy's alpha, this guy's beta, anybody can be alpha at any time. Anybody can be beta at any time. Anybody can be gamma or sigma or omega or delta at any time. These are all different archetypes that we have to study and we have to look into. So be careful with that. But in that sense, I wanted to give a little background just so people understand that it's not so cut and dry. It's not so, oh, you're either an alpha or you're a beta. Like, oh, it's like you're either a leader or you're a follower. You're either a winner or you're a loser. It's just not. Real life is full of nuance. Real life is full of examples of failure and success. And some of the most famous people will quote you and say, in order to be successful, you have to fail a lot. So if you base your terms and definitions of, a winner and a loser on any one instance, then you're severely limiting that person, or you're severely limiting that situation, or you're severely limiting that person's growth. As human beings, we take a lot of losses. As human beings, we fail a lot. Failure, I fully believe that it's true, is one of the ways towards success. In order to be successful, you have to know what it is to fail. You have to fail a lot in order to learn, in order to be successful. So if anyone says, oh, you're a failure, you're this, if they're pigeonholing one instance, there's a lot of danger in that. And I see this a lot, particularly with young guys who are in competition with each other, which is something else that I've talked a lot about in the past, where guys are always in competition with each other, which is something that shouldn't really happen. It should be a lot less than it is. We should not be in competition with each other, because that plays into hypergamy. First of all, if men are in competition with each other, it plays into hypergamy. You should be in competition with yourself, and yourself really only. If you're in competition with somebody, just get out of that environment, get out of that scenario, because there's just not enough time to play those kind of games. Oh, I want to win. I want to be better than this person. I'm going to AMOG this person. I'm going to show this guy that I'm better. Woo, woo, woo. It's like, you have a child mindset. That's a childish mindset when you think that way. You should be only in competition with yourself and, to whatever extent, your environment. That's it. Yourself and your environment, because those are the two things that determine success. Your attitude, your self-attitude, and your environment are the major two factors that determine success. Yes, your ability plays a large role. Your skills and talent plays a large role. Your perseverance, your ability to bounce back from failure and loss and mistakes and things like that. As far as the grand scheme of life is concerned, all those things play big roles. But what doesn't play a big role is competition with other men. And it shouldn't play a big role, because we shouldn't be in competition with each other. It's stupid. It's dumb. And if you look at it like that, I can tell what kind of person you are. If you look at it like that, I can tell that you are a low energy, low level type of person, low level type of thinker. You're not in competition with other men. You're not. And you're not even in competition with women. You're in competition with yourself, and you're in competition with stagnation. You're in competition with atrophy. Okay? You're in competition with laziness. You're in competition with not persevering, not setting goals, not accomplishing your goals. You're in competition with that negative attitude that keeps you from getting out of bed. You're in competition with your depression. You're in competition with all that junk food that's out there that says, eat me, eat me, eat me. You're in competition with your diet. You're in competition with, is it raining out? Can I go running today? That's what you're in competition with. You're not in competition with Joe down the street who's got a nicer car than you. If you think that way, you're in the wrong frequency. Okay? So I want to say that for red pill men particularly, because this is who I'm talking to, this is my audience, guys who are woke, guys who have they're on the right path already, because there's a lot of people who aren't even on the right path. They're stuck in the matrix. They're slaves to the system. They are hamsters on a wheel, right? Doing the 9-to-5 thing, doing their little slave labor. in their slave mentality, living that low level, low energy type of life. Okay. Red pill guys are guys who are woke and guys who are awakening. All right. So that's who my audience is. Be careful with the terms alpha, beta. Okay. Because it can really play into hypergamy. There's a real thin line. There's a thin line between saying, oh, this guy's beta and I'm alpha because I make money and because I can support my family. Like, there's a thin line between that, because you don't know what that guy went through in his circumstances. You don't know what his personal setbacks are. All right. And you don't fully really understand hypergamy. You don't understand the red pill. If you're out there saying, oh, I'm a breadwinner, therefore I'm a real man, then you are severely limiting your growth as a red pill man, because you shouldn't be in that whole sphere. Oh, I'm in competition with other men, therefore I got to go out and get a job so I can get the woman. Da, 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 da. That's a blue pill mentality, and we should know that. And there are guys who say that they're alpha. There are guys who claim, even in the red pill community, I've heard it, they claim they're more alpha because they're chasing success. And you got to be careful there, because you could really play into hypergamy. Oh, I'm chasing success. I'm being more successful. I'm a more successful man. Therefore, I'm going to attract a higher caliber type of woman. You're going to attract more of a hypergamous woman. You see how that works? When you take the red pill, and some people say you can take the red pill once and for all. I don't know about that. I think we need to have a daily dose of red pills. I think we need to continue to reevaluate, take the red pills as many as we can, learn what we can, because they're all part of our vitamin, regimen, right? All the truths in the red pill community, they're all part of our vitamin regimen. We have the truth about gynocentrism, we have the truth about hypergamy, we have the truth about women cheating, we have the truth about lay count, we have the truth about STDs, we have the truth about the alimony in the court system, we have the truth about the Me Too movement. We have all these truths. They're all little red pills that we got to take.